Well, I see the TV Breakfast Show, and I'm still your host here this morning in Diamogo. I have, we've been talking about the JP Morgan's delisting on the GBIEM, that is Global Bond Index Emerging Markets. And this is because as far as they're concerned, Nigeria is has restrictions in that market, and they're not quite happy with it. But the government has their own reasons. They're saying we have to protect our market and till sometime when we're much more balanced, and then we can still get back into the index. I still have on phone Festus Akombi. In the studio, I have Tajuddin Ibrahim. Yes, I'm correct. I still have him here. We were talking about the transfer, doing something on the transfer market. Festus, can you take it from there? We were talking. I'm sure you were listening to him. Can you take it from why he stopped talking about that the government has to do something really about the transfer market?
Yes, I agree with him totally. You know, it's difficult for Nigerians transacting business outside with the current situation now, especially the gap between what is existing on the street and what's obtainable through transfer market. Like I said, most of these policies will be put in place when we have the new finance minister. And apart from the finance minister I'm talking about, you see, when it comes around, serious hard work will begin. First, with a serious dialogue with political leaders at the federal and state level to rein government spending and deepen President Mohamed Buhari's led policies of cutting waste and blocking leakages at federal and state levels, while building up revenues and fiscal buffers through taxation and fair value-added tax. All these things are to be put in place. It's a cocktail of measures that because we can't just say, okay, address the transfer market. We have to address it as a whole. And I've not lost the hope that, look, things will be better. I agree with him, but to some extent, the thing is not as futuristic as he's talking about. Because if you are determined to do this thing, it's just to see that's a challenge, which you have to make the challenge. If there's a fire incident, every household has to come together and look for ways to put out this fire. We don't need to wait till the fire comes. We have to put immediate action. That's what we are talking about. If we have the cabinet in place and we know the sense of direction of this government, everything will put in place, especially if the government is serious about the change, about cutting waste, about tracking, about stopping corruption. Nigerians are not done. When they see that we have good leaders and we see this thing, things will fall in place. Like the problem we have in the foreign exchange market, where we have speculation and arbitrage. It happens every other place, in every other country. But what we're talking about is we need somebody to lead us. We need somebody to bridge the gap. As long as these things are in place, I can show that we are not going to feel the impact of our exclusion from JP Morgan's index.
Yep, I hold you there. We need somebody to lead us. We need somebody to bridge the gap. I take you back to what you were discussing, which I referred to him, the transfer market. I want you to then talk about what you think we can do there.
Well, I think it's a hard one, just like you said, and I think Nigerians should be ready, to feel the pain, because I think they say, no
pain, no gain.
Exactly. So we have to be ready to bear some pains, in the sense that these problems that we have identified, they cannot be solved in the immediate term, which means there is no short-term solution to this. Only what is obtainable is long-term solution. And the way I see it is, I see a situation where, just like he said, we have the cabinet in place, and there are policies, and these policies are driven towards achieving these aims and objectives. So number one, I think there is need for us to strengthen our dollar generating capability in this country, and that speaks to the leakage he was trying to talk about.
Yes.
So if leakages are blocked, which is what almost everybody in the country is calling for, even the NLC is calling for it, even the kids are calling for it. So if that can be achieved, I think there is a big or huge gain in it for us in the future.
All right. I'll get back to you. Festus Akombi, you're an editor of This Day, a journalist. Before I let you go, what kind of finance minister are you looking at? And set an agenda for the minister when he comes on board. He's probably listening to you now.
Well, we are looking for a finance minister that will not be held captive by those who are causing this problem for us. You see, it surprises me that most of our colleagues, I mean, those who have demonstrated the ability to run their personal businesses, by the time they get to the office, it's like there's a demon there that converts them to close their eyes. But we want somebody who can, go there and do what is needful. We don't want somebody that will be captured by those who are running. We know what we're talking about. When we talk about the crisis in the foreign exchange market, in the oil sector, in all the other areas, there are some people that have shown us that they don't love this Nigeria. They don't love this country. We don't want them to capture whoever is coming. We want somebody who's independent-minded and who's ready to key into the policies of this administration. We want a change. We can't be administering the same medicine for the same payment and we're expecting different results. We want somebody that will come and who must have studied the situation and who is able to bring in new development. That is the kind of minister we are looking for.
All right, thank you very much, Festus. Maybe one more before I let you go. China did not participate in the derivatives market for years. They were driven by need to curb corruption and do things that only benefits their country. I want you to respond to that.
Come again, please.
China did not participate in derivatives market for years. What they were driven by was the need to curb corruption and do things that only benefits their country.
That is what we are talking about here too. We need, in the situation gripped by corruption, there's nothing we can achieve. We want transparency. We want that's the problem about this portfolio investors. I told them not for that Christmas. They're looking at an environment where there's openness, where they can come in with their money and do their business and take their money away. So if you have a society that's free of corruption, everything will fall in place. When talking about derivatives, talk about whatever set of the economy, what we need is somebody that can come around and because the president that is fighting corruption, is blocking leakages. We want to see his cabinet and want to see whether they will be able to kill into his programs. That is what's going to send the right signals to the international community.
Right. Thank you very much. Festus Akombi there, business editor of this day. We still have in the studio Kolawole Ibrahim here with me. India and China are also excluded from the index gauge due to capital controls that limit access to majority of foreign investors. I guess that's what the central bank is trying to do. The central bank, the DMO, and the finance ministry is trying to do here in the country.
Yes, that's what they're planning to do. But the question is, are we going to get it right?
Do you think so? Do you think we're not going to?
I think we cannot afford to fail.
Because, like he said, yes, that's a good one. Because he said, he talked about challenges, and I add problems. Challenges are there to be met. Problems are there to be solved. We should be able to handle them.
Exactly, I agree with you, and that is where we need, a finance minister that understands the economy excellently, and understand how the financial markets also works, and also understands each of the ministries and how each one of them is connected to the finance ministry, and is able to work around all of this, to sort of drive, Nigeria to the next level in terms of growth and also in terms of development. So if we fail on that front, then I'm afraid
we failed.
So we must not fail.
We must not fail. I don't think it's a choice. Among the options we have, option A, B, C. Failure is not an option there.
Not at all.
At all. All right. Well, it's interesting to know that Muazu, the director of corporate communications, he said that what they have done, the forex policies, have resulted in the stability of the exchange rate in the interbank market over the past 7 months, and largely eliminated speculators from the market. And then they are saying that despite all these achievements, JP Morgan would prefer that they remove this rule, and this could lead to an indeterminate depreciation of the naira.
Well, I think I'm a bit differ. I differ a bit.
Okay.
From that, because now I spoke to you earlier on about what we call a two-way code system.
Yeah.
And so when there's a two-way code system, there's a free market. You have banks and securities companies making money when they sell stocks and buy. The same thing applies when they sell and buy bonds. So the same thing applies when they sell and buy foreign currencies. So this was in place before. So, but at the moment, we don't have it any longer. So, if apart from you filling the order of your customer for banks, you cannot really generate much money on FX. But what do you call a proper banking environment? A proper banking environment is one that has all the instruments, the financial instruments that are traded, available, and also traded accordingly for the sole purpose of making profit.
But that's when you have proper times and things, because it said that birds have learned to shoot without perching, so hunters have also learned to shoot without missing.
Yes, I get you, but I think we have to also bear in mind that these banks are there. They are funded by some shareholders, funded by equity holders, funded by debt holders who want to get some returns. So no bank can function without the underlying sort of shareholders and their support as well. So you would expect some sort of flexibility. And I say to people that I discuss with, I say to them, look, we are talking about the US dollars against the Nigerian naira. And people are saying that there is speculative demand. If I want to go further, I say to them, look, there's a bottle, and you are asking for the bottle you want to buy. I'm asking I want to buy. Every other person is asking I want to buy. And the owner of the bottle has only one bottle. So what should he do? Produce more.
Okay, well,
produce more.
Yes.
The moment you produce more,
you make more money.
You make more money.
Satisfy more customers.
That's exactly the underlying point. The moment you produce more, you satisfy more customers. If I buy and I'm satisfied, I keep off. I stay off. I stay away. I don't demand. I'm not aggressive. Even when I do, when I get to buy, I buy. When I don't get to buy, I go to sleep because I have enough.
So, Kolawole, are you now saying that they should revert back to two-way quote system? Because why they did it, like Central Bank is saying, is to at least for now maintain some order. Drive away speculators, which to a large extent they have done. Stop. We've not been able to explain this rent-seeking and round-tripping.
Round-tripping largely applies, both of them, they're sort of related. And, they apply largely to the banks, where a situation where, banks will buy ahead, even if they do not have, some sort of customer demand on the back of that. So they buy ahead for their books. So the moment they do that, when there is devaluation, so if you buy like $1 million for your portfolio as a bank, what happens if the naira is devalued by 10%, let us say, then you will benefit additional in naira, by holding that $1 million. Okay. So that's what the CBN is trying to avoid. And I'm in support of that. But what I'm saying is, if they need to do more, in terms of sanitizing the market, they should do, but not to the extent, to which the market is brought to like a standstill, where there is no two-way quotes.
What they have now is order-driven
market.
You're against that?
I'm not against it, but I'm just looking for some sort of flexibility because, look, there is no market in the world.
How do you mean flexibility? Because they're running away from the two-way quote based on what we've discussed. They have an order quote driven. Okay, are you saying between order and two-way, something in between?
Something in between, something that allows some sort of free trading of the currency. I understand perfectly that why they've done that is because of the current mess. I will call it a mess.
Yeah.
Because we were at some point careless. If we were saving aggressively or in a very serious manner, when oil prices were above $100 per barrel, we should not be in the current situation.
And that was because of the leakages.
Exactly. So if leakages are blocked, and the blockage of leakages, to my mind, is the only upside, to what I see happening in the Nigerian forex market. If leakages are blocked,
it will go a long way.
It will go a long way. If leakages are blocked within the next 3 to 6 months, we could begin to talk, differently in that regard. But if they are not, then I say again, we'll probably have failed.
We do sincerely hope that leakages get blocked, because if then they don't get blocked, that will be a serious matter, really. It's been quite interesting discussing this thing. The government has also said that, I remember they're saying, let me just get it here. Let's talk about the question of, let's go back to JP Morgan a little bit. 12 months interval to return to the index, that is, and Nigeria would have been able to satisfy the consistent liquid currency criteria. I want us to look at that too.
What they are looking at, because analysts generally, economic, financial, equities, or any sort of analyst that track currencies will probably agree, that this country, looks promising in terms of a turnaround of the entire economy, largely hinged, around what the current administration is likely to do. So if you take a 12-month look at this economy, what we have today, I believe will be far better in 12 months' time. And that, of course, to my mind, would be a compelling reason for them to bring us back to the index after they might have taken us out.
But it's really interesting that only Nigeria and South Africa are in that index.
It is interesting because those are the two key markets. Don't forget that Nigeria is the largest economy in the world. I'm sorry, in Africa.
In Africa, yes.
And followed by South Africa. And interestingly, you will find that the South African market is far deeper than the Nigerian financial market, and their weight in the index is 10%. And we are only 1.5% of the index. So the trading activities of investors in that index, in connection to our weighting here in Nigeria, is not really significant. So what happens if they delist us, they get out of our bond market, the local investors are there. But there's a price to pay. In future, what I see is a situation where foreign investors will place a higher, risk premium on Nigeria if we want to issue another Eurobond.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Kolawole Ibrahim, an analyst talking on the JP Morgan listing. So glad to have you spend your time with us on TVC Breakfast Show.
Welcome.